What is going on, everyone? Welcome to an episode of the FiveMarks. This week we're doing something a little different. It's not even Saturday, which is feels a bit weird. You're not Carmel, but this isn't the FiveMarks podcast anyway. So, welcome to the FiveMarks Bad Blood review. I am Mr. Martin 105, joined by Mr. Tony.
It's good to be back in the saddle. It's been far too long. It's good to be taken off the bench, off the reserves.
It was Carmel's idea, not mine. Just for all the
See, he
people,
does love me sometimes.
just for all the people are going to give out in the comment section, it's Carmel's idea. But Tony, we are fresh off the heels of WWE Bad Blood pay-per-view. Obviously, the return of the Hell in a Cell match and so much more. There's parts that we're going to deep dive in. There's other parts that aren't really worth kind of talking about, in my opinion.
We might share that same opinion.
Well, the first place we're going to start off with is obviously the opening contest, or I can see why people think it was going to be the main event, but I've got a good reason why it was fine. Punk versus Drew McIntyre, Hell in a Cell. What did you think of it?
It was a really, really good match. Drew, I hope Drew's back is intact because
Oh
he took
boy!
bumps. He took bumps.
Boy, oh boy! His poor
And
back on
he
the
bled the
steps.
hard way. There's not a lot of wrestlers that you can find that'll bleed the hard way.
Yeah, that fucking toolbox to the head, that was nasty. Nasty.
It was the noise of it as well.
The match, I thought, like, there was no words to kind of talk about the match, how good it was. You know, the lads. What's the best way to fucking say this? The lads, they kind of proved that good stories go so far. You know, I'm a massive story guy, and Punk and Drew has been going on since Rumble last year, realistically. And this was the Rumble match with Punk getting the win over Drew. And the lads beat the living shit out of each other as well. This being one of the Hell in a Cells where they didn't need to go outside the Hell in a Cell to do stuff, because that's the way the rivalry was. They wanted to kill each other. They wanted to keep each other within the confine of Hell in a Cell to just kind of one up the other person. And as you mentioned, the fucking toolbox to the head of Drew McIntyre, nasty. Like, Drew was pumping blood.
It was like Niagara Falls. It was just, it wasn't pleasant.
There was one, I was doing a few clips during the show, and there was one clip I loved. It was when Punk was busted open. And Drew, as soon as he saw the blood coming out of CM Punk, you kind of saw like a crazy side of Drew, turning his head just a little bit with a little kind of crazy smile, because he knew, oh, I'm breaking this motherfucker. This is what I want. But the lads, they absolutely. I have a list of things that were used here. Beads, very weird one, but obviously with the story of CM Punk and his little bracelet.
Yeah, it was like the final in your face thing from Drew, which in the end ultimately cost him. But
yeah, missed Claymore dropping into the steel steps, absolutely brutal.
yeah, I don't know how he didn't haircut Holly is back there, because them steps are not they're not by any means blunt.
No. And then obviously there was a little table spot as well, kind of closer to the end of the match. I wish there was a bit more kendo sticks inside there, but look, can't have everything. But honest to God, absolutely brilliant match. I agree with people saying it was definitely it was the main event in our eyes of the show. But, and I'll talk about this at the end, I do agree it should have opened.
I think it was the right choice to open. I know you're gonna have a lot of people complaining saying it should have been the main event, and it was a main event caliber match. But like I said, as we get to that main event, we will have our opinions on why we believe the main event was the right call.
I'm gonna let you take over here now, because Bayley versus Nia Jax, I've made it very clear. I do not like Nia Jax. Yeah.
So I was texting multiple people during this match because we were texting to see
Was this when
our
Rob was talking his fucking shit? Was he talking his shit during the match?
it could have been Rob was one of them because you were in and out with the group texting everywhere.
Yeah.
But so, I think after the first move went tits up, I was like, yeah, I'm just this is just not. Can
No.
we end this match? Can we like it
Uh,
was just
so cause I took little notes during the show just so I'd be able to remember and just talk about this type of thing. Uh, my first note was please take the title off Nia. That didn't happen. Uh, Nia had full control over Bailey for majority of the matchup. It was a submission attempt. Bailey took over. I think there was a dive to the outside. Brought her back in the ring. There was a moment in the match where both Nia and Bailey were down. And then Tiffany Stratton came out. And it was the same thing we saw the last time. Nia Jax waking up at the wrong time and being like, bitch, what the fuck you doing? The match was okay. I can't get behind Nia Jax. I just can't. Like, reasons of just past shite. I don't mean like just the botch moves, but taking no we'll say not taking responsibility for what all the shit that she caused in the past. And just the matches, I don't know. I'm watching these matches. I'm engaged in these matches, and I just don't think they're good. They don't click with me.
it's just she just uses a generic moveset and it just doesn't.
Also, what the fuck was that Hurricane Runner?
Yeah, because I thought it was Bailey powerbombing her, and then it was either Graves or it was Cole or it was one of them said, "Oh, look, the Hurricane Rana," and I was like, "Sorry, what?"
Like, fair fucks for trying, but maybe I'll do it again.
Like,
She
it
almost
could have went so wrong on Nia's end.
she almost botched herself an injury instead of somebody
It,
else. So, I mean, I don't know. Nia Jax, Bailey, it was okay for me. It wasn't we'll say the best match on the card. It was probably the worst or second worst. But
I think most of us were waiting for Tiffany to cash in successfully, but it wasn't to be.
I don't think she should. I don't think Tiffany Stratton's ready. I really don't.
I'm hoping they do it. The payoff works.
I actually think they should take the briefcase off of her.
If they were
Give
going
her
to do that,
so
they wouldn't have
much.
given her an own pretty briefcase.
They gave Kennedy his own briefcase.
But Kennedy got fired. There's a big difference there.
No, when he was Money in the Bank at holder at the time, he got told by a doctor you're gonna be out for months, and then went to another doctor or something like that. I can't remember the exact story. And got told, no, you'll be gone for about 3-4 weeks, maybe 6, and could have been Mr. Money in the Bank still, but they needed to get the belt off Taker, so Edge had to go with the briefcase. Well, moving on, we got Finn Balor versus Damian Priest. What do you think of that?
That's the match I couldn't think of when I was listening off matches, did I? It was actually a really good match. Was it?
A lot faster of a match than I thought. Just in terms like we kicked things off with a fucking load of fast kicks and fucking punches and beating the shit out of each other, which you kind of expect with how much has gone on in the rivalry.
Yeah,
Obviously
yeah.
with Finn Balor and the Judgment, they're turning on Priest. Like, Priest is out to fucking kill Balor. I thought it was a very, very solid match. It's kind of sad that the Judgment Day got involved in that match. I thought it
Which
wasn't
we knew they
needed.
would, kind of.
You can't, like, you know they would, but like, if you're gonna get the Judgment Day involved, okay, Finn should have gone over. But you
I
got
thought
the
he
Judgment Day involved.
was going to when he hit the second. There was a second or third coup de grace. I thought he was going over, and then he went for fourth and got caught.
But you got the team involved. Priest clears them, catches Finn, and wins. It makes the Judgment Day look weak, and at the moment, you want to build that group up. Priest can take the loss by, we'll say, the Judgment Day get involved. That's fine. You move on to a rematch. Priest gets one up, and maybe leave it there for a little bit. Have that third match kind of lingering later down the line. The coup de grace to the back of the head was fucking nasty as shit. But as you said, I think it was the third or fourth attempt, caught midair, hit with us out of heaven, was 1, 2, 3. Like a fair match, but I do think Finn Balor needed that win, and the judgment did need that win more than anything. I know you are kind of.
Yeah.
I know you're kind of waiting for this. I want to hear what you're going to say about this. The historic announcement of the night as well.
We all had our thoughts, our opinions on what it was going to be. Fagan was partially right when he said it was a belt.
This
but
fucker
nobody
thought
could have
it was
imagined
going to be
it was.
fucking announcing UK show. I was like, how's that fucking historic?
Again, I was partially right. I wasn't there with the PLE. So we were all partially right, and I guess.
We don't give out pity points here.
I feel my opinion is everyone's opinion. Why do you need a crown jewel belt in order to have a champion versus champion match? Like, it could be a non-title match, an exhibition, and still slap.
Here's my thing with it, okay? I think it would have been fine if it wasn't called a Crown Jewel Championship. You could have called that the Champion of Champions. But what they could have done is done a tournament. I'm not sure how many, like, you can stick the tag champions into it, and you can stick the singles champions into it. Have it lead up to Crown Jewel, so you have all the champions involved, and you end up with that one, well, the two champion of champions. I think that's the way it should have been. You know, back with the old, like, SmackDown versus Raw type of thing, where they actually made the Champions of Champion title. It should have been that. It should not have been like, oh, here's a Crown Jewel pay-per-view belt. Well, here's the Champion of Champions championship, and we will do this tournament once a year. And I think it was something, cool. You could have, like, imagine sticking the tag champs against each other at one point. It would have been fun. Like, you would have had, let's just say the men's side, the world champion, US champion, the IC champion, the tag champs, and do we have another belt, or is it fucked there?
No, I think, yeah. Thereabouts.
Stick in the NXT champion just to even it up. And then on the women's side, you have the world heavyweight champion as well, so it would have been fine with 6. And then the women's side, the world champion, the women's champion, the women's tag team champions. And I think that's all we have without going into NXT, which again, that would have been fine. That would have been just 2 matches onto a third, being the finals, and you crown the champion of champions there. That's the way, like, ultimately it is a champion of champions title. It's stick your 2 big champs against each other, and there's one superior champion. But it's interesting, but I'll see where this goes. At the moment, it's weird because you have 2 heels going at it on the women's side. So one of them has to drop the belt in a couple of weeks.
Oh, who? And does that mean that Tiffy is going to cash in on one of them?
I don't know.
Like on the Raw, on they tape next week's Raw episode, and on that episode, they tease Tiffy cashing in on Liv.
You reckon she could cash in on that fucking Crown Jewel title? Cashes in and has a belt that she holds for a year.
If she hits the ring at Crown Jewel and attempts to cash in, could you cash in and try to take both belts?
Well, I think imagine she thinks that she's going to get both belts, wins the match, and they're like, oh yeah, here's that Crown Jewel title. It's like, oh shit, wait. Oh, I fucked up. That's what I think should happen personally.
They're gonna art through Tiffy.
Yeah. Oh, my bad. Sorry, everybody.
My bad.
And speaking of Tiffy and Liv Morgan, a very interesting shark cage match with Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley.
Yes, it was, yeah. Interesting is the word.
I felt the match was okay. It's kind of what you would expect in a Liv Rhea matchup. Rhea in control for most of it. I did love. I would prefer not love. I'll start with this. When Dom fell out of the fucking shark cage, I nearly had a
I
fucking
thought you
heart
fucked
attack.
up. So did I. I thought you fucked up. I thought you missed his footing.
But the thing is, I remember then when he first got into the cage during the entrances, the referee he did go down to tie something to his foot. So I was like, oh okay. But I loved love kendo sticks, love a good kendo stick, massive pop
Love
for
a good
me.
pinata spot.
The pinata spot, fucking happy birthday to me, and just whacked the shit out of him with a fucking um, kendo stick. It was all right. It was a real Liv match. Obviously, Rhea Ripley's had much better matches, so probably not one of her best, but as well the return of Raquel Rodriguez. I keep going to say Gonzalez.
Which you could have dropped a dime, a quarter, a 50 cents coin in that venue when she came out because it was silent.
You got it. You gotta give
And
her some. Like,
no, I like Raquel. I like Raquel. I like Raquel. But she just didn't appeal to the audience.
I can't remember if like what happened with her and Leo. I thought did they just drop the belts? Was it? Wasn't it? And like the
She ended up going back out with that. Is it a skin disease or something she
bit
has?
like psoriasis, a bit like what I have. So yeah, okay. Because I thought like maybe it was a heel turn or something like that there, but because I was wondering, I was like, why is she back with Liv? But
And kudos to the referee on not going for the original finish and throwing it out as a DQ. Because as he said on his tweet, I saw everything. I couldn't, in good conscience, count one, two, three when I started to throw it out as a DQ and I saw everything that happened.
sometimes referees do know how to do their job, So kudos to him. And then we get to our tag team main event.
And before we even get into the ring, I'm questioning the main event. Because they've an orchestra that's not playing music, a marching band that's
I wanted to talk
irritating as
about
fuck.
this.
Like, what was the go home plan there?
You could tell, like, someone messed up. I don't know they weren't told a cue, but I love that you had wrestling has more than one royal family. All the stuff going off, but the band's not playing. The band are just like, when's that cue again? It'll come up at some point. And so they did it again. And Cody comes out, the band isn't exactly in sync with the music, but look, it is what it is. And then,
I thought they played the music too early and then stopped, and then he came out and they realised they were like, oh, fuck.
no, I don't know. It could have been that, or the band just didn't fucking know. Um, and then Roman's fucking orchestra was just as fucking bad. You're one playing the air drums. Like,
It was like there was no cue, there was nothing given, nobody was waving at them to tell them to either
well, like
start or.
you know that most entrances are done like the bands aren't actually playing. But like most of them will make it look like they are playing. But your one was just like she wasn't hitting the drum. She was. You could see there was no connection being made, so it had me fucking laughing. Um, but the one thing I loved was they really they stuck to the story that they wanted to tell here in terms of between Roman and Solo and Roman and Jacob Fatu. Like we started off with Cody and Jacob, I think. And early on, Roman got tagged in and he wanted to fight Solo Sikoa. So out they go. Went to the outside. We had a little tease of Roman and Jacob Fatu at the beginning. Solo took advantage of that, knocked Roman down with a shot to the back of the head. We had a clash then between Roman and Jacob for the first time ever. They've really, really kept that, we'll say, protected. Those two can't touch. Like the cage match incident was hilarious to me. Roman's coming out, Jacob climbed to back up the cage and outside the cage. left Solo there to fucking die, pretty much. Um, like Jacob Fatu again, absolute beast. He kept all the offense on Roman. We had Roman make that desperate tag over to Cody Rhodes. Cody taking over. Combination splashes from Solo and Fatu. Those were fucking picture perfect, by the way. It was like a back-to-back fucking splash. They were just, so fucking good. And this moment I want to talk about because I loved it so fucking much was Cody fighting Fatu on the outside and just pummeled him onto the announce table. Because he realized, I can't stop this fucker. How do I just put him through the barrier. He's still fucking coming back at me. But I loved how it was the look back to Roman, like, alright, kid, you're on your own now. And gave him the little salute, as in, see you later. Puts Jacob Fatu through the fucking table. I fucking love that.
Just it looked like a whole bout, especially the jolt that you see Cody take as he bounces the table.
It was literally like one of those, I've dealt with the issue, you finish off the fucking story. Hush! Jump, took him out. It was fucking, it was so good.
A good spot, really bad time spot.
What was your thoughts on the match?
Really, really well put together, really good storytelling. As you said, there's somewhat protecting Jacob and Roman. I assume that's in lieu of forthcoming War Games. If they go the route of Bloodline and Bloodline, which it looks like they could do again.
Because we had one little moment there at the end of the match. Do you want to take that one?
We did towards the end of the match. Well, actually, in lieu of this, because none of you responded to me, I put in the group during the dream match, lads, there's someone under the ring. I seen a monitor. Nobody believed me. Now we skip to the main event.
He definitely wasn't underneath there. The monitor was probably there.
The fuck it was.
No,
he crawled out under the ring.
What they normally do is bring them out just as that match is going live. They'll darken out the arena and play the promo, and it'll have like guys looking like security. Kind of like they're in like a group.
Why would they have a monitor under the ring for the whole night on when no one was under it?
Because how the fuck are you gonna get the monitor down there like while the people are there? That's just that's obvious then. But if you have the monitor there ready to go for Jimmy when he goes down,
you still don't let me have things. I can't have things.
No, because
I keep getting reminded of these fuck ups, but I can't have wins.
But Jimmy Uso coming out, making the fucking big return to save Roman Reigns,
getting the pop of the night.
Getting a massive fucking pop of the night. He soaked in every fucking
massive pop, huge pop.
Like he soaked every moment of it.
He did. Then after that distraction, the spear was hitting Solo. 1, 2, 3. And your winners. The unlikely team of Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes.
Fucking
then we got the tearjerker moment when Roman realised who helped him. He got his Jimmy back. He got his Jimmy back. Sounds weird when you say it out loud, but he got his Jimmy back.
And then obviously Roman, he left Cody in the ring. This is your moment. That's your title. See ya. And the Bloodline were not done attacking Cody Rhodes from behind. I love Jimmy saying to Roman, this is you. This is not like what are we doing here? Are we helping him or like they're our problem too? And Roman trying like say to him, I gave him one promise. My promise is done. And Jimmy convincing him like, I'm with you, whatever you want to do, but like you promised him. And then dive to the ring, take out the Bloodline, standing toe to toe with Cody again, hands him over the title again. And the final boss appears.
He came back. He rolled off into the sunset back in April, and he's arrived back the way he left.
But the thing is,
with his belt and toe.
Who's he with?
I don't know. He didn't choose. He just came out, stared, gave the eyebrow, did this, and then left.
Did the 1, 2, 3, and the cutthroat, which is obviously talking about like I pinned you to Cody. But then afterwards going on Instagram Live and saying, the last number of months have been bullshit. But bullshit in which way? For Solo's Sikoa and what he's done with the bloodline? Or the fact that Roman was gone for so long and let this all happen, you know? So it's going to be interesting to see whose side the final boss is on. I've been hooked on the bloodline fucking story since 2020. I am fucking still willing to ride this fucking thing out. I thought Bad Blood, it was a solid 7 out of 10. I thought the Hell in a Cell match was perfect. The main event was perfect. The rest of the matches were okay. If not, they were mid. But this is what I wanted to say here, okay? Because I know a lot of people were giving out about how the Hell in a Cell match should have been the main event. But the only thing, like, if you look at this from a TV point of view, Drew and Punk was the end of that story. That's it. Drew and Punk is done. We saw that on Raw. We're moving on with Seth. Whereas you were left on a cliffhanger at the end of the tag match. You know, with The Rock coming out and shit, is he with Solo or is he with Roman? Is he going after Cody? What's going on? Whose side is Rock on? Who's Rock going after? You know, you were left on a cliffhanger, which is what programming is supposed to do. It's what keeps you interested. It's what keeps you hooked. So I'm interested to see where that goes. It's a continuation of the story. One story ended to kick off the show. Another story continued with a twist. That's why it was moved to the main event. I completely agree with the choice about it. But I will say the match of the night was the Hell in a Cell match.
It was. Hands down, it was match of the night. It had everything from the start to the finish of it. It had everything. And I think Triple H has found his formula for his pay-per-views. I know people like giving out saying, 5 matches and it's not 4 hours long. I mean, we were giving out because it was 4 hours long.
We were in bed by fucking, 3 a.m.? It was amazing.
A little after I set up to watch the press conference, in which I found out via Triple H that Kevin Owens beat the piss out of Cody off camera.
It was actually from me. It was a McMahon that told you in the group chat. I want to talk about that.
Use that surname.
I can use it. It's my own surname. Talking about a continuation of a story. Kevin Owens beat the shit out of Cody Rhodes after everything. Fan footage surfacing online of Cody and Kevin having a talk after the show, and Kevin, he attacked him.
Do we call it turning heel though? Because he's attacking them because he went back and everything they've been through the last year.
But that's the thing, you know, like Jimmy Uso's back. Think about everything the Bloodline has done, and Cody's allowing these people to come back in. So you can see where Kevin is coming from. But at the same time, I think like Cody kind of proved himself with Jay. He gave Jay a chance, and look, everyone's like okay with Jay now. So I don't know. It's super interesting to me.
Well,
I am such a story person. Oh,
it's funny you should say everyone's okay with Jay, because I don't think Seth Rollins feels that way.
Really?
Did you not see the look he gave him when he was interrupted by the Yeet Meister himself on Raw? Almost like interrupting people is my stick. Get your own thing.
But that's because don't forget they did tag in War Games as well. I don't know. Well, look, I love stories, and is Jey Uso going to get involved in this? Do you know he's Intercontinental Champion now? He's gone so far past the Bloodline. You know, it's interesting.
Is this going to be the catalyst for Orton turning heel and getting heel Orton back?
You know, there's so much that could be going on, so much happening that it's sit down and
he kind of teased a little on NXT when he was giving advice to Nate and Fraser by saying sometimes you have to let your darkness take over.
Poor Fraxium. That split is going to be fucking huge.
Who turns it, though?
I think Fraser should do it, but that's NXT. A solid pay-per-view. 7 out of 10 for me. Tony?
I'd give it a 7 out of 10 as well. I'd have probably marked it higher if Nia Jax was just off the card altogether.
10 out of 10. That's what it would have been.
Like, I see people on Twitter, and I'm not calling it X because I just don't want it, on Twitter saying, oh, but she's the most improved wrestler of the year. And I'm like, whatever coke you're sniffing, can I have an end of it?
I know.
Can you pass it on to Tony Khan as well? Maybe his booking will get better.
Fucking Rob Gold. Absolute fucking specimen that man is.
Yeah, but hating Rob is like kicking a puppy dog. You don't want to do it.
Put the dog in front of me.
It's a real dog.
That is our Bad Blood review. We were supposed to be joined by Mr. Gold, but I may have forced us to record earlier, so you're welcome, Mr. Rob. But the next time that you see this review, I don't know if it's going to be AEW or WWE related. You guys have to tune in and find out on the FiveMarks channel. It will be Tony and Mr. Gold having fun, going back to the old days, some controversial days. But Tony, actually, I'll let you sign off in a second. I'll let you do it. I'll let you do it your way. Follow us, FiveMarks Podcast, FiveMarks Pod on X and TikTok. I've never been here for one of their live outros, I don't think. So, go on, Tony.
What way would you like me to set us off into the sunset?
You do what feels right.
Well, I can't tell you to follow the socials because you just did. Because the all socials are future endeavoured. But we will be here once a month, maybe twice, depending on when the pay-per-views fall. He's been Mr. Martin, I've been Mr. Tony, and until next time, and I don't care if it's not a FiveMarks related podcast, we are ding, done.